Welcome to Fresh Fishing. I'm Foxy.
I'm Martin.
And today we are at Southfield Fisheries on Pond A. It is Pond A, isn't it?
Pond A, yeah.
It is the Crimbo Limbo at the minute, so we're on the bank holiday after Boxing Day. What is it, 27th?
27th today, yeah.
And yeah, me and Dad haven't seen each other over Christmas, so I thought we'd get out for a little day sesh and see if we can catch some Christmas carp. We've had the deeper out. We basically got here about, what was it, just after 8?
8:15, yeah.
And then spent a little bit of time looking in the lake with the deeper just to try and actually find the fish. This lake supposedly has more fish in than the other one, but on the deeper it didn't seem that way. We could only find about
10, 11, 12
ish fish.
With some smaller ones along the way, weren't there?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a triangular shaped lake, and we've got basically our outside rods kind of going out to the right, and then 2 inside ones kind of in more into the middle of the lake. Said that we're going to share rods today, purely because one spot might be kicking off, and obviously it's winter, it's going to be hard to come by bites, so hopefully we can get at least more than one and we can have a fish each, which would be nice. And then tactics wise, we've got Parker Baits boilies, which is the fruit and nut, crumbed up to a nice thin dust, and then with that we have got a fair few maggots.
Got some maggots, yeah, just red and white, and I've got 2 rigs out with maggot on, and on my maggot rig that I showed you on my last session, I've got 2 rigs like that out with I don't know, about 8 or 10 maggots, a bunch on each, with a few loose offerings around them, and then I've got a method feeder, mega method feeder out with a few pellets loose offerings on my side on the left. I think have you got 1 or 2 maggot rigs?
I have got 2 pop-up rigs, so I've got a multi-rig on a pop-up. Then I've got, it's kind of like a runny rig, but it's not actually a runny because it doesn't have the spinner on it. I just tied it with a knotless knot, so it's similar to a runny rig, but it's got a little bait hook on there, so I can get the bait on, and I've got a few maggots on the end of that, so a little pop-up with some maggots. And then on my middle rod I've just got a solid bag with a lead in, and obviously in a solid bag, and then I've got Ali Hamidi's OMC, just one of the little maggot kickers on, and yeah, that's just gone in a solid bag with that Parker Baits crushed up boilie and then a few maggots, and then cast it out. So I don't really like using solid bags that much because they are hassle, and it was hassle putting that out. It's not
going to be wet later, isn't it?
It's not as easy as putting a method feeder out. But I know that's a bit controversial. We get some feedback. A lot of people are saying that we shouldn't use method feeders or whatnot, but it's the same as a solid bag if you ask us. So, but today I've gone for it purely because I wanted to put crumb boilie into the bag. So we'll see what we can do.
And I went for a method feeder purely because I already had a method feeder on one of my rods. I weren't going to be bothered
Easy.
changing it.
Yeah.
You know, to get it set up quickly and get them in as quickly as possible once we'd deepened the lake and seen where the fish were, and so we can see how we go from there.
But I think we're going to get brews on now, get kettle on.
Yeah.
Get a brew.
Well, we've already had a McDonald's, a festive McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah, I got us some treats as well this morning, some flapjacks, some millionaire bites, and some cookie and cream.
I've got some cold pigs in blankets if you want.
Oh, lovely.
And some sausage rolls.
So yeah, we'll just try and keep warm. Oh, that's what I was going to say before. We have had a little bit of interest. Dad's had a bit of interest on his left-hand rod. Nothing? Oh.
It was beeps at least.
There was a few beeps. And then on my right-hand rod, I've had a few beeps.
Well, it's now my centre rod, but yeah, it was my left-hand rod then. I just cast that out and with my maggot rig on there, and had a few beeps. But of course, there are smaller fish in here. So
yeah, that's the thing. We use a maggot. We could get annoyed by them, but we're hoping we can pick up a carp or two. I don't think there's any 20s in here, but apparently there is some high teens.
Said they've had a 19 out of here, so that was a 19 in summer. It's probably, I don't know, 18 and a half now, 18. But
I don't know. It might be bigger.
I've had an upper double out of here, 16. Second time I fished it about 18 months ago. And as I say, I've heard people say they've had 19s out of here, so there might be the odd 20 in here as well.
You never know. So anyway, we're going to get the kettle on, and hopefully we'll bring you a bit of action shortly. For those of you that watch the channel pretty regular, you guys will know that Wayne is a very big advocate of the NGT stove. My stove broke recently, so I thought I'd join the dark side, and there it is. Got an NGT stove to match Wayne boy. To be fair, his has been going strong since we started specimen fishing, so that's like coming up 3 years. So yeah, the only problem is there's no spark, so you need a lighter, but if it's a solid runner, then it's probably worth it. Time to get brews on. Right, we've just had we just recast all 3 rods. Just put some little mesh bags on with maggots and a bit of the boilie dust.
I left it in my bag.
Oh, he has remembered his hat. Yeah, no, we just recast all 6 rods. So hopefully that can bring on a bite. That's what we're planning. We're going to recast every hour. Every hour to try and get a bit more maggot in there, get a bit of bait in there, and just try and find the fish really. Just keep a bit active, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough to land our bait in a spot where we can get into a nice carp. The heavens have opened. Got a bit of rain. And what time is it, Dad?
12:30.
12:30. We've recast the rods again. I had a bit of a mishap, managed to cast in that bush there, so I was trying to get quite close to it, and yeah, went in the bush, so I've had to go around the other side and get it out with me spod rod. Managed eventually, but so far it's all quiet on the western front.
Very quiet. The initial knocks on my my rod when I casted first thing this morning, but apart from that, been nothing, has he?
I've had the odd beep here and there, but nothing to
write home about. Yeah.
Nothing to write home about, and nothing to make me go and actually pick the rod up, kind of thing. You're just talking like a knock here and there, but there is smaller fish in here, so it could be that. Could obviously fishing maggots. But we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. So I'm gonna have lunch now. Dad's gonna have a cup of soup. And what else have you got?
Sausage rolls and pigs in blankets.
Very Christmassy.
Cold pigs in blankets.
And I've got chicken and bacon sandwich from the shop. And we've got all this to get tucked into as well, but probably not going to manage it all. But so we'll have lunch, and hopefully we'll be pleasantly interrupted by some carp. You having a cup of soup?
Cup of tea, cup of soup, yeah.
Cup of soup.
Minestrone, yeah. It's alright. Yeah, nice and tasty.
I've got to say, the NGT stove is it does boil kettle pretty fast, like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not a massive kettle though, is it?
No, it's not, but I'm pretty sure I had the Advanta one, and that stove's boiling up faster than the Advanta was. I think it's recast time soon.
Yeah, another 5 minutes maybe.
Well, right now we've got a bit of a situation. So we've had the deeper out, looking for more fish, and we've found a ton. Out in open water, maybe 3 rod lengths out. So we've repositioned the rods, but the boat has died. Either the battery on there or the remote's not working. So we are currently tying a lead to my spod rod, and we're going to try and retrieve it. Disaster averted. We managed to retrieve the boat in the deeper. Luckily my spod rod was with us, and we've managed to get it out. But as I was just saying a minute ago, we had the deeper out, and just in front of Dad, probably like 3 rod lengths out, massive shoal of fish. So we literally just left the boat sitting there whilst Dad recasted to the boat, basically using it as a marker. So did that with 2 on his pod, and then similar on mine, 1 in the middle on the left hand side. Saw a bunch of fish there, used the boat as a marker, casted to that, and then kind of moved 2 rods about, but my middle one's now up to some fish where we've seen. So we know
amongst them.
We're in amongst them. We've got the rigs in places where we know there's fish. So if we don't get a bite, it's not for lack of trying, because we've just got piss wet through. My hands are freezing. So we've definitely given it a good go. Just got to hope now. It is 2 o'clock. There's Dad taking one barrow load up to the van. I'm just watching the rods. And I think the bigger will be the last to come down just due to the rain. I'm going to keep the rods in as long as possible, because you never ever know. You might get a cheeky bite. You never know. Look at all them fish there now. So I've just chucked my boilie crumb down there. And that has attracted, don't know what they are, but a lot of little fish. Wonder if we see any carp coming into the area. Come on, last knockings. Well, that's the rods out. Dad's taking his last one out now. Mine are all out. Need to pack this up, get back to the van, and then we're out of here. That's it. Another winter blank.
Yeah, it's 4:25 now. We've packed up slowly, left the rods in until lastminute.com, but nothing doing. Although we found the fish and we were right on top of them with all the rigs, nothing doing, unfortunately. They just weren't interested.
Yeah, I mean, pond A, there's supposed to be more fish in there, and we did see a lot of them, but yeah, as Dad says, just weren't interested. There's not really much you can do if they're not having it. Nice to get out, but yeah, unfortunately it is another winter blank. So that's it for today's session. You will be watching this in January, so a very happy new year.
Yeah, happy new year, everyone.
And then the next session that we're going to be going out on will be a 24-hour in January at some point. Me and Wayne are going to be going out. I know Amar's going to be getting back on his retirement sessions at some point, so that should be back on your screens very shortly.
I might come out on a 24-hour as well.
Oh, we might come on the 24-hour.
Depending on the weather, see what it's like.
But yeah, that's everything for today's video. Obviously, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already, hit the subscribe button and then click the alert bell so you get notifications when we post any new content. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye,
Cheers.
everyone. Take care.